So let's talk again about financial abuse, because we can talk all day about what is happening when you're in the middle of being abused, but I feel like so many people are struggling financially anyway, on top of the financial abuse and the mental, emotional, all the other aspects of being in an abusive relationship. Maybe there needs to be some kind of little roadmap you can follow, which I know sounds cheesy or like, bitch, that's not gonna work for everybody, and it probably won't, but I feel like there are a few things that when you're in that clouded time of your life where everything's just a struggle, it's a struggle to get through the day. Like you're just trying to make it through the day. And maybe you don't have the mental energy to think about these kinds of things. I've been there. You know you're ready to leave. You are probably either financially dependent on this person, or if you do have money coming in, they probably have you locked into a joint account and you don't actually get to see any of that money. They limit what you spend on groceries and so many things that they have control of that make it impossible for you to stand on your own 2 feet as you're walking out the door. I should probably say, since we're talking about finances, that I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, I don't know shit about nothing except my personal experience. First step that I would take, open your own checking account. Without their knowledge, probably not at the same bank so that nothing slips up when you go make a deposit, it goes into the wrong account, none of that. Which I already had one at the time that was just still open from before we were married, and he didn't have access to the information, so he didn't ever know how much was in it or, what I was spending in that aspect. Go to a different bank, open a free checking account, and anytime you get change or you can get cash back from the register or you get a little bonus that doesn't come direct deposit or whatever, every little penny that you can scrape up and put into that personal checking account that's only yours, do it. The second thing I would recommend, which is probably not a great piece of advice for down the road, but for in that moment when you're actually leaving, get a credit card. And you may already be in debt. I was horribly in debt because he used all of our actual money. We both had jobs, but all the money that went into our joint account was getting spent on ridiculous things. And then I would get, screamed at if I spent more than $200 on groceries. I know I've told that story before, but if you haven't seen that video, I want you to know where I'm coming from so that if it's relatable to your situation, you'll know that I have actually been there. But the credit card will allow you to do things like at least have gas money to get somewhere when you're leaving, or be able to buy food for you, and if you have kids with you, buy necessities that you need after you leave. Separate bank account, a credit card, and if you don't already have a job, I know the depression that comes from being in that survival mode makes it really hard to be stable as far as working, or sometimes it even physically makes you sick, like reoccurring, what do they call that? Chronic illness, so that you can't work. And I know you're just so beaten down and it's hard to even think about putting out any more energy than you already are in just your day-to-day surviving. But a big part of leaving is putting all of this in a box. We're going to deal with it after we're safe. We're going to deal with all of those emotions after we're in a safe space to process them. Right now, you have to put yourself in a place of confidence and independence. I went out and I didn't even go far because we already lived pretty close to my hometown. So I went back to my hometown, got a job as a waitress. I'd never waitressed before. I'm not a super bubbly social person. waitressing was not really something that I should have been good at, but I was so determined to provide for myself and get the hell out of there. I made it work. I mean, I worked my ass off and worked every hour that I could just to get myself to a safe place. If you're in the middle of this and this advice is helpful to you, I hope you act on it and you can find the courage you need to create a better situation for yourself.